Welcome back. We are Wednesday night lesson today. We are in Colossians chapter 3, verse 18 through 25, really through verse 1 of chapter 4, because that's where it ends. I'm just going to read it to start us out with, and then we'll go from there. It says, "Wives, be submissive to your husbands, as is fitting in the Lord. Husbands, love your wives, and don't be bitter toward them. Children, obey your parents in everything, for this pleases the Lord. Fathers, do not exasperate your children, so they don't become discouraged. Slaves, obey your human masters in everything. Don't work only while being watched in order to please men, but work wholeheartedly, fearing the Lord. Whatever you do, do it enthusiastically as something done for the Lord and not for men, knowing that you will receive the reward of an inheritance from the Lord. You serve the Lord Christ, for the wrongdoer will be paid back for whatever wrong he has done, and there is no favoritism. Masters, supply your slaves with what is right and fair, since you know that you too have a master in heaven." This one's for students, at least for those of you who are students watching this, or teenagers, or not married yet. This one's pretty simple. Really, for you, it covers this: obey your parents, right? How do you live as a kid knowing all this stuff that Paul just said in the previous 3 chapters of Colossians, right? He just got done telling them Christ is everything. Christ is the reason we make these decisions. Christ is the reason you are who you are, or you are where you are. And he's very specific about it for 3 solid chapters. And then he gets here and says, okay, since you're this way, since you're this new creation in Christ, right? Since you have been changed, since you've put to death the old things, these things that have are the world or have caused destruction, and you've put on the new life in Christ, here's how you live as a member of your family. This is how you live as a child, as a father, as a husband, as a wife, even as a slave, because you gotta remember, then there were slaves, like legitimate slaves. And this is not to condone slavery. Slavery was just a thing at the time, and it wasn't a race thing either. It was just, if you were poor, your family sold you to slavery to make money. That's all there was to it. It wasn't a race thing. Maybe at some level or another there was a little bit of that, but it's not like we think of slavery in our recent history, where it was all because of the skin color. Which doesn't condone it either, but what I'm saying is, this isn't to condone slavery. This is saying, you have slaves, I know you do, so if you do and you're a believer, you need to treat them as one of your family. You need to look after them as one of your family. But also slaves, if you are a slave and you're owned by a Christian man, and you are a Christian man or woman, this is how you need to behave as a slave. See them as your family. Work for them hard, not because you're working for them, but because you're also working for God. More importantly, you're working for God, I should say. And that's kind of what he's getting at with kids, with husbands, with wives, with fathers, with mothers. Christ has changed you. So no longer should you treat people harshly. No longer should you view other members of your family as less than, or somebody who doesn't deserve a fair chance, right? You're to see your whole families, your whole nucleus family, like your siblings and your parents and your grandparents, but like your whole family, like your church family, your Christian family, right? Your brothers and sisters in Christ, your fathers in the faith, those who helped you grow up in Christ. We're to treat everybody as if we are loving them like Christ, because Verse 23 says this: whatever you do, do it enthusiastically, as something done for the Lord and not for men. Guys, this is so huge. This is such a critical verse for us because, yes, he's talking to slaves. Yes, he's talking to mothers and fathers, but he's also talking to us as children living in a house with a mother and a father, or an aunt and an uncle, or a grandparent, or whatever else we're living with. And say, whatever you do, whether it's doing the chores, whether it's cleaning your room, whether it's in timeout, or like maybe you're grounded because you messed up. Do all of those things wholeheartedly. Own up, basically. Own up to your mistakes, but then for the things that you're responsible for, own up and do them. But do them not because your earthly family tells you to, or your earthly masters, or your earthly bosses, or your earthly whatever, but do them because you're working for the one master that matters the most, and that's Jesus. That's what he's getting at. This verse is so critical, and if I would suggest that if you do memory verses, or if you like to memorize things, this is one verse that you need to stick in the back of your mind, because this really is relevant every single day. Right? Some things, they come and they go. They're relevant in seasons. They're relevant in different time frames of our life, for different scenarios that we're in. But this one is literally relevant 24/7 every single day. Okay? It's the Colossians 3:23. Whatever you do, do it enthusiastically, as something done for the Lord and not for mere men. We aren't working for our families. We aren't striving for our bosses, or our teachers, or our coaches, or our mentors. We are striving and we are working for God alone. He is the one who created us. He's the one who gave us these gifts. He's the one that gave us the ability. He's the one who did everything we need to be able to do this. He gave it to us. We owe it to him to work to the best of our ability. Guys, this is crucial in your development for Jesus Christ, because guess what? He is your master. And he's not the kind of master that beats you down like a slave, but he's a master who loves you and cares for you and wants what's best for you. And he's going to do that if you follow what he's asking you to follow. Just do things to the best of your ability to bring him glory and satisfaction in doing hard work that brings glory to Jesus. Guys, we love you. I thank you for being here. This was short and simple, but I think the message in these verses is short and simple. Whatever you do. And I don't know if you know what that word whatever means, but it's literally whatever. Everything. Right? Everything, whatever, you name it, do it as if working for God and not for people, and I promise you that brings glory to him. Guys, we love you. We thank you for being here. If you need anything, let us know. I know this is kind of a strange week because we're getting back to our main church service on Sunday morning, but that is just service. That is 8:30 and 10:30 in the main auditorium. You sit with your families in appropriately social distanced pews, and it'll also be Facebook Live, so you can watch it there if you don't feel comfortable getting out. But over the next 2, 3, 4 weeks, we are going to try to get into the youth building for Sunday mornings and Wednesday nights. We did have a little bit of a small meetup today. Earlier, there was 5 guys, I think. And we met up at the youth building, and we just had fun. We cleaned up a little bit, we straightened up a little bit, but we also just got to hang out and have some fun, which was nice. We're going to try to do that a little bit more in the next few weeks, so be on the lookout for that. Check your text messages, check our social media so that you don't miss out on those opportunities. Guys, we love you, and we thank you again for being here. Have a great day.